All right. Hello, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're zooming in from. My name is Rachel Skipper, and I'll be leading this session. I'm excited that you joined today to learn a little bit more about what you can expect as a student in the College of Arts and Sciences or the Maxwell School from an international student perspective. We're here to share with you some commonly asked questions about the international student experience and to answer your questions. So there'll be plenty of time for Q&A today. You can see in the bottom of your screen that there are two options, chat and Q&A. So I'll bring up the chat right now. If you could just share with me your first and last name, perhaps where you're zooming from, I think that would be interesting for us to know. And any questions you might have right at the onset, that would be helpful. Additionally, we have a Q&A section, and the Q&A is a really easy place as the session goes on and you have questions, you don't want them to get lost in the chat, which can happen. Let us know what your questions are in the Q&A, and I'll be kind of answering questions as we go and spending time in Q&A. I work on the admissions team at Syracuse, and so I review student applications, consider students for scholarships, and help students all the way up to the point of enrollment. But the more important people in the room with us today are people who will be with you as you are a student, not as you are an applicant. And that's Professor LeBeau, who is here to represent international student services and success as far as academics specifically are concerned. And we'll talk to her much more in a few minutes. And also Mega, who is a current student here at Syracuse. So not a faculty, not a staff, but a real student. So you can ask her questions as well. Ling, Mega, would you like to introduce yourselves to the audience?
Absolutely. So, hi, everybody. So glad you are here. My name is Ling LeBeau. You can call me Ling or Dr. LeBeau. I'm Director of International Student Success. So my role is within the College of Arts and Science Maxwell School. I focus on international students' academics and career development. So you all know that there's an International Service Center on campus. So they issue you I-20, the visa documents, those things. That's a separate department. So my role is different. So I'm so glad you're here. And also I can guarantee you, if you come to Syracuse Arts and Science Maxwell, you are in good hands, because we actually won a big award from the US. It's a national award, not a recognition. We are the best to support international students' academic success and career development. Okay, Mega.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mega Wisniewska. I'm an econ major, and I'm also in the Maxwell Arts and Sciences School. Yeah.
So if you have questions for either Ling or Mega as we go through this session, again, feel welcome to leave them in the Q&A. And it's fine to direct your questions specifically to them so that we know that the right person that you want to answer your question does. Otherwise, I will be helping answer questions. So we have, again, a few questions that we know might be on your minds. We spend a lot of time working with students, so we do know some of the things you might be wanting to know, and those are on the next few slides. Again, if you're worried that the question you have is not going to come up, tell us. We will also answer more questions in these. But first question I get a lot is, where is your campus? What does your campus look like? Is it in a city, a small town? And maybe Megan can comment on this too. But this is what our campus looks like. We are a school in a somewhat rural area in upstate New York. So when you hear New York, sometimes you think New York City, taxis, flashing lights. That is not where we are. We are in a beautiful area with a lot of forests, waterfalls, hiking. So you'll be spending some time outside. You'll be experiencing lots of seasons. So this is a beautiful image from the fall, but we also get a beautiful summer, winter, and spring on our campus. In the center of this image, you see a lot of our academic buildings. And for the first 2 years with us, you will be living right here. So on our campus, very close to these buildings. Mega, do you want to chime in at all with kind of how you feel about living on our campus, what it's like to live in upstate New York?
Yeah, I think you've pinpointed it perfectly. It's really a calm place. I'm yet to explore all the other places in the waterfalls, but it's really beautiful. And there isn't a huge rush that New York City or the name gets, but it's really nice.
So you can absolutely Google Syracuse University campus and things like that to see more. You can also see from Ling's background, absolutely beautiful, lots of green spaces around our campus. Another question we get is, how many international students typically apply to Syracuse each year? And I think you'll be happy to know that we do get quite a good number of international students applying to Syracuse every year, about 10 or 15%, depending on whether it's the College of Arts and Sciences or the Maxwell School. So we do see strong application numbers from international students all around the world. Even just in this session today, I know that we have more than 20 countries represented. So I think it's nice to see a lot of different cultures, backgrounds, ethnicities, and nationalities around our campus. On campus, we see 14% of international students, 385 new undergraduate international students enrolled with us last year. And again, that's just undergraduate students. We also have many graduate students and faculty who are international on our campus, but your peers, you'll be coming in with a group of almost 400 international students specifically who are moving to our campus from around the world. If you're interested in what that looks like, right, moving to campus, we will also talk to Mega about that in a few minutes. But if you have questions about how do I become a member of the Syracuse community, how do I transition to being a college student, what will it be like living with another student on campus and not with my parents or family or in a boarding school, let us know in the Q&A section and we'll talk about that more. Another thing you might be wondering about is housing, right? I just promised you a beautiful place to live on our campus among all the trees and academic buildings. And yes, housing is guaranteed. All of our first-year students are guaranteed housing. Second-year students are also guaranteed housing because we require you to live on campus with us. So for 2 years, you'll be living on our campus. And again, if you're a little bit nervous about that transition, just know that international students also move in early. So first international students come to campus, then students from the US come to campus, and then we start classes. So you'll have more than 2 weeks of time to kind of adjust to life on our campus. And the first period of that will be only with international students. Okay, next up, we want to ask Ling some questions. I know you're excited to hear from her. And again, if more questions are coming up for you as we do this, just let us know in the Q&A. But first, Ling, is there additional academic support or advising that is specific to international students?
Absolutely. So I think you should feel assured that you will be so taken care of at Syracuse University in terms of your academic learning and career development. Because Syracuse University is the university, actually the first ones in the US that created my position and hired me. So 4 years ago, so this was new in the US, and then some university, they have like some supports, but no comprehensive support. So Syracuse University actually set a model, it's called International Student Success Model. As I mentioned earlier, because we really did so well in the past 4 years, this year we won a national award for supporting international students. So, okay, let me tell you the how we do it. First of all, for the day you are committed to Syracuse University, May 1st, until you graduate from Syracuse, you are in good hands. You will be taken care of. Okay, for example, like once you are admitted to, you make a commitment to Syracuse, so I will be in touch. And then so even before you come to Syracuse University in summer, the 3 month, you will have an outstanding upper class peer mentor to assist you. You have one outstanding student who will basically accompany you from May to your time in Syracuse. Okay, you can ask them any questions you want, so any issues, and then also once you're on campus, you're going to meet with them in person. Once a week, I have some activities organized, sort of like a organized study group. Okay, so you have a person to depend on. Okay, also in summer, and so I will host a weekly academic training every Wednesday, 1 hour through Zoom. So I will go through all those very important things you need to understand before you come to the US to study. So for example, academic expectation, academic policy, and how to choose a major. Can I do double major? Or if I want to be a lawyer or want to be a medical doctor, what major should I be in? Everything. So, well, in the summer, we're going to go over those very foundational knowledge with you. So once you are on campus, you will not be lost. You are ready, basically. And then that's in the summer. Okay, you have peer mentor, you have weekly academic training with us. And also, if we have parents here, or if your parents are not here, tell your parents. I will include them as well. I will have a separate parents meeting. I'll keep parents in the loop. parents also understand what's going on, because I know parents, if they have never studied in the US, they may feel, you know, kind of blind. They say, I have no idea what's going on. No, your parents will know, because I'll tell them, share with them, okay? And then then during the summer, the third thing is that I will have a non-credit course in Blackboard. So the non-credit course, I will show you step by step how to do it. Non-credit course, it's a very brief. There are many videos, modules. You get to watch them, so you learn more. So ultimate outcome is before you come to Syracuse, you are prepared, you are confident, you are comfortable, you know where you are going. Okay. So technically, I told students many times, I say, technically, it's kind of like you don't know how to swim. And then, so in the summer, I teach you how to swim. And then once you are on campus, you know how you jump into the pool, you can swim. Okay, so please take advantage of those resources in summer. You'll receive emails from me, communication, and then you'll be ready. Okay, once you're on campus, of course, we have other supports for you. And then, for example, I have a weekly, like a forum, international student forum. We'll talk about topics you will never learn anywhere else. For example, how to build a relationship, positive relationship, but with professors. So, and how to communicate with my advisor, my peers more effectively. You know, also I have every week in the newsletter. So it's very brief, very important things as an international student you need to know for that week. Some academic events, some scholarship application, those things, okay? And then the same thing again for parents, okay? For parents, I meet parents once a month. Parents also will be informed of everything, okay? So those are the most important things, but not all. For example, also every October in fall, we have specifically a career immersion trip for international students. So my colleagues and I, we take you to visit companies, law firms. So in the Syracuse city, it's free. University covered all, okay? So those things I mentioned, it's for international students only, okay? And of course, those are extras basically for our international students because we value your diversity. We value the global talents. We want you on campus. Syracuse is a very welcoming university. So, and then we love our global talents. And then those are international supports. And then in addition to that, we have many other resources. For example, Mega just participated at a fabulous New York City 1-week career trip of fully paid by university. So I think I'll stop here, and then perhaps the Mega, you can, since you are still freshman, perhaps you can share, you know, how you benefit from those onboarding, supports, and also once you're here, those supports from the International Student Success Program.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I think as Ms. Ling has elaborately explained what the programs are, what the support systems are, I've been able to participate in most of them as well. I'm an international student. I forgot to mention, I'm from Zambia. So exactly as she said, as soon as summer starts and you know you're going to Syracuse, I would say it's best to get into the ISS program. It teaches you a lot and you get a head start before you come into college, which is an awesome way to begin. So you can have fun and explore other aspects of campus too. As she said, there are many other opportunities that are presented for you. You can go on the immersion trips that I just went on. It was with Winston Fisher. I think along with academic support, you also get a chance to explore other aspects of your career and whether you want to go with that major. It gives you more clarity as to what you want to follow through with and what your passions are.
Awesome. So I hope this helps you feel confident, not only in the kind of supports you'll receive over the summer before coming to campus, which I know it's feeling like it's coming up very soon, probably especially for parents, that we know how time flies, but also during your first semester. Our next question that I want to talk about is, what will my first semester courses be like? So what kinds of classes will I be enrolled in? How will I choose what those classes are? And maybe how will I swim, right? If I'm finding that I'm sinking a little bit in these classes or struggling at all, who do I go to for help?
Yes, the first semester course I'll start, and then Mega can share from a student point of view. Okay, so in June, around June, and then everyone, so once you are committed to Syracuse, you'll be assigned academic and career advisor. Okay, this system may be different from other countries, but in the US, so in addition to professors teaching you in the classroom, outside of classroom, you have advisor who will guide you in the 4 years through your academic progression, what courses you take, what major, all those things. So in June, so your advisor will contact you, okay? And then, so one advisor works with about 250 students. They'll contact you, and then we have some form for you to fill it out. For example, you tell us your interest, academic interest. And even if you still have no clue what I want to study, it's totally okay. So then we're going to, the advisor will work with you, and or advisor will select a couple of courses for you actually based on your interest, your sharing of information. And then advisors then later will train you how to select the courses in our system. It's called My Size. So you can select courses of your interest. You can do basic kind of 50 courses, advisor select it for you, 50 you choose by yourself. And then usually the first semester we want students to have 15 credits. It's about 5 courses. It's a combination of like liberal arts core courses and at least one your intended major course, like that. So so don't worry, you'll be in good hands. Just want to let you know, it's not something you have to do everything by yourself, but you'll receive guidance. Okay, but you also have your own autonomy. You get to choose some courses. Okay, so Mega, do you want to share something, your experience?
Yeah, I think it was one of the smoothest experiences because I was a part of the program and follow through most of the help resources. I would like to emphasize that, everybody states this, follow through with your advisor. They will be the best helping hand for you to get more clarity, and also look into your degree works, but you will get more into that. But it'll just give you more clarity as to what you want to do and how you want to pick your courses for the first semester. But also another advice they would say is have fun, choose the courses that you're interested in, whatever minors or majors you want to go into, or just explore holistically.
Great advice. Thank you both. So I also want to talk about English speaking skills. I know that we've talked broadly about academic support, and hopefully everyone is assuming there will be some English speaking and writing support, but I don't want to leave things up to assumptions. The point of today is asking questions. So can we talk a little bit about assistance for students who are still working on English speaking, English writing, or both, which we know is really important, not just for classes, but also socially important on campus?
Yes, and so if English is not your first language, and then you'll be required actually to take, it's called English placement exam. So even if you say I have TOEFL, I have SAT, I have IELTS, yes. So if as long as English is not your first language, native language, yes, you're required to take English placement exam. And then so it depends on your score, then you'll be placed into different levels of English classes. Yes, those English classes will be so helpful, and they can help you with your spoken English, your writing, academic writing, everything like that. Okay. So in addition, on campus, we have a writing center, English writing center, and it's free resource for students. So whenever you need support for your writing, doesn't matter. You say, I just need an idea what to write about. They can help you. Okay. So the writing center actually is not just for non-native speaker, also for American students. American students, sometimes they go there too. Okay, in a socially, so what to do? Okay, remember I mentioned the peer mentor. So you have a peer mentor. Basically, one peer mentor works with about 5 or 6 students. So you are in a group. Okay, so then you get to meet every week and then speak English, of course. And then also once you're here, we're going to introduce you to some student groups, organizations, clubs, activities, and then you'll get involved and then practice your English more. Okay, Mega?
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well. I'd just like to add that there's the Writing 105 course, which they've mentioned. That'll be a part of your freshman year first semester. So you'd be a part of that.
Great. If anyone has questions about these kinds of support, the classes we're talking about, etc., let us know in the Q&A. I'm starting to see some questions come in, and that's fantastic. So let's keep that rolling. And if you have more questions about English proficiency, language learning, writing, let us know. Okay, up next, we are turning our attention to Mega, and you guys are probably excited for that because I know it's really great to hear from our students. They're maybe the best source of information about the university, as hard as Ling and I try. We are not students, right? So I know that talking to Mega is exciting for all of you. And we're going to be talking mostly about the transition to college. And I know we've answered some questions about this already, but I just know there's a lot here. So more questions about the transition. First, Mega, will I be able to live with another international student on campus? And even beyond that, will I be able to choose my roommate?
Yeah, certainly. I think it's really up to you the first year. Personally, I started my roommate search a few months in advance through their different platforms. Within our school, affiliated one is My College Roomie. Correct me if I get the name wrong, but you'll be able to choose who you want to room with, and you can even interact with them beforehand, so you know what your habits are, what your likes, dislikes are, so you have an open platform to choose whoever you want to connect with.
I'll also mention quickly our living learning communities. This is something you'll see in a lot of American universities. So this is maybe not very unique to Syracuse, but I do think it's good to mention and something you should be looking for at all the schools that you've been admitted to. Living learning communities are groups of students that can live together based on a shared trait or based on an interest. Right. So if you would like to live among other international students, there's a learning community for that where you don't have to choose your roommate. You don't have to worry about who the other students on your floor will be. You know that they will be international students. Or if you'd rather not live among international students, right? Some students want that. They want to see what students from other universities are like, other countries are like, other nationalities. And so they want to live on a floor, but you want to know that you have something in common, right? Outdoor pursuits, right? Going and kayaking and hiking and all of those things that we see our students doing. For example, you can live on a floor of students interested in that. If you're interested in psychology, you can live on a floor with other psychology students, or a Maxwell floor with other Maxwell students. So living among students who have a shared interest is also something that you can do. Next up, Mega, you already are very familiar with how vibrant the campus community around extracurriculars is on campus. The students in our audience are not, so maybe you could share a little bit about that. But also, are there student organizations that I can join? Will there be opportunities to connect with students from my home country or with other countries?
I think definitely there are like 300 plus organizations, so there's an organization for any interest that you have, or there are like academic organizations too. I'm part of the econ organization as well as other on campus, like they say, performances. So there's a lot to cater to everyone's interest. And there are definitely opportunities to connect with students from your home country. And that happens usually when you're first entering into colleges, like most prominently. I was honestly, I was kind of the only person from where I'm coming from, so couldn't really indulge into that experience. But there are like many tremendous aspects where people will connect you with each other and other countries too. So orientation week is a big aspect of where you can connect with many students.
Yeah, I want to add, follow Mega about how can you, be connected with students from other countries. So in a couple of ways, actually, the first one is in summer during our weekly academic training. So we ask students to introduce yourself. At that time, surprisingly, so actually students meet each other. Oh, you're from Delhi. Okay, so let's talk, And then also, especially if we don't have a large number of students from certain countries, for example, like Mega say Zambia. So And then we'll actually go through our student list. We're going to introduce, we're going to say, because we have maybe 3 or 4 students from Zambia, we'll say, okay, hi guys, here's Mega, she's all from Zambia, you know. So, I mean, of course, it's the student choice whether they want to be connected or not, but we have ways, means to actually to help you connect it.
Great, thank you for those answers, really helpful. Okay, next question. Who should I contact if I have questions during my first few weeks on campus? And I'll give you a preview by saying there are a lot of people. The way that Syracuse does advising is largely by providing advisors for different things for every student. So I kind of describe this as a group of advisors orbiting one student, right? And they might reach out to one person or another person or someone else, depending on that specific interest. And if they don't know who to reach, they can contact any one of those people and that person would help them. So imagine yourself with a group of advisors orbiting you, right? As we're talking about solar eclipses, this is maybe a good analogy. But if anyone wants to chime in, either Mega or Ling, and maybe starting with Mega, who did you contact, right? Or what list of people are available to you now and during your first few weeks?
Honestly, I contacted my peer mentor left and right. I was like, please tell me what this is. I do not understand. And they're a great resource too. Feel free to contact them. And also my advisors, like stay in touch with them over your email or whatever, put in like the meetings, go meet them. I would say those are the two best access because they know who you are, that you've been building a relationship with them over the summer or just like while the first few weeks. And there are definitely more resources advising the advising group as well. You just don't need to meet your one advisor. Sometimes you can go get advice from other advisors who have different experiences. There's also Dr. Ling on campus. I definitely would say talk to her. And yeah, there's more resources as well.
Yeah, also remember you get to see us every Wednesday. Basically, every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, we are in Zoom. So you can definitely find me and find Mega, and so there. And then again, like Mega said, your peer mentor, number 1, definitely. So your peer mentor actually they guarantee they're going to respond to you within 24 hours whenever you contact them. Okay, peer mentor, your advisor, and me.
Great. I think that's another thing that makes Syracuse really stand out, right? So maybe we can talk about that if you're interested to know what makes Syracuse different from other schools. That would be a great question to leave us in the Q&A, and I think we could all answer that. But one thing that I think Syracuse does really well, and I talk about this to domestic and international students, it doesn't matter where you're from, you want support. You're going through a big life change. You're doing a lot of learning. It's not always comfortable to go through those big changes. You're not always going to be sure of what to do. As hard as we try, we will still have questions, just like in this session, right? And so I think at Syracuse, we do a really good job of making sure that students have a lot of support. They have people around them, professors, students, advisors, who all say over and over, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? So I think you'll feel that once you're on our campus. And if you have more questions, how do I contact these people? When? Who are they? Where is their contact information? Who are they? Can I talk to them now? All those questions you're welcome to ask. So with that, we are going to move to the open Q&A session. Like I promised, I want to spend a lot of time on Q&A. And I want to make sure that we are able to answer as many of your questions as possible. And we made it to our mark. I wanted to spend at least half of the time. So the rest of this hour we'll be spending on open Q&A. And I see we have a lot of questions from you in the Q&A, which is great. So if you have more questions, let's turn our attention now to the Q&A section where you can leave new questions. And I'll just note that at the top of that box, you can also see answered questions. So there are a couple questions I've already answered. And if you want to know if a question has already been asked, you can look to the answered section. So we can start kind of sifting through these questions, and some of them I'll leave to Ling and Mega. And Ling and Mega, if you want to chime in on one of my answers, as we've been, feel welcome to. But the first and maybe oldest question that's been sitting here that I want to make sure we answer live is what scholarships are available for international students. And I'll let you know that scholarships for international students are largely the same as scholarships for domestic students. So like I said, I work in admissions at Syracuse reviewing students for admission and for scholarships. and domestic and international students are considered the same. So all of those scholarships that we offer for any Syracuse applicant are available to international students. And I'll leave a link as a response to this question in the Q&A. So if you're looking for more information, you can find that link. Just based on your application, you are already considered for those scholarships. So there's nothing more you need to do. Just apply, you'll be considered. If you've received a scholarship, then it will be in your admissions letter. Congratulations, you're admitted, and money, right? That's a nice message to receive. So Ling, Mega, do you want to talk about any additional scholarships that might be available to current students on campus? I'm obviously less knowledgeable about those, but I know there are options.
Yeah, I think Rachel's right. So because Syracuse University is a private university, so therefore all students basically pay the same tuition, receive the same scholarship. There's no difference between like domestic and international. So some public university, for example, is a University of Michigan, so they may have difference, some international student, but what private, all the same. And then, so the only big difference is American students, so they are eligible for financial aid. It's called, because the federal student loan. And then for international students, you cannot have federal student loan. That's a big difference. So once students are here, actually, there are some, but not a lot. Usually, I think the merit-based scholarship for international students happen during the admission process. Once they're here, so every semester there's some little bit money, some donations money, and then big scholarship. I would say it's about the junior year. It's called Remembrance Scholar. That's about $6,000, and then so there was some little bit ones, but once students are here in the first semester, so I will show students those existing scholarships, and then so they can apply, but it's not a lot. So, and because also American students can apply too, okay? And then there's one scholarship I want to mention specifically as for first year student. So it doesn't matter international, American. So if you receive GPA 3.75 and above and 15 credits, you'll be named Success Scholar. You'll receive $1,000 per year automatically. So that's automatic scholarship, you even do not need to apply. Okay. So Megan, would you like to add some?
No, I think everything's been covered. Yeah. I know there's some, I don't know if everybody looked into this, but there's corner scholarships too that is kind of specific to, I would say, your college or something, but it's overall as well. But I would encourage just look into what different type of scholarships Syracuse has. And yeah, but you'll be eligible for them either way, but just like be a bit knowledgeable, just explore, I would say.
This is another thing that students really work with advisors on. So if you're not sure how to navigate this once you're on campus, or if there's just a lot to look at, and there is, many options, you're not sure what's the right option, you can talk to an advisor about this as well. We have an office on campus called our Center for Fellowship and Scholarship Advising, and I can leave a link to that in the chat if you're interested. And those advisors, again, are specifically working on just scholarships, domestic and international students, like Ling mentioned. I've had a few questions about partnership programs in other countries. So I want to share with everyone in the chat the link to our study abroad site. And I know that most of you are not interested in studying abroad so you can travel. You have traveled. You're not interested in coming into the US and leaving again to study abroad for the sake of traveling, which most American students do. But if you're interested in looking to partner with other countries, take classes in other countries, participate in research in different countries, see the kind of academic work that other countries are doing, then study abroad is still a good option for you. And I think the study abroad page does a good job of sharing not just travel opportunities, but also academic opportunities in other countries and in partnership with other universities. So I love the study abroad page. If you have questions like what partnership programs do we have in other countries, what access would I have to foreign institutes, things like that, then I would recommend checking out the study abroad page and let me know if you have follow-up questions or additional questions beyond that. Okay, next question up is, what does conditional admission mean and what do international students expect after receiving conditional admission? So conditional admission means We would like you to enroll at Syracuse. We believe that you are qualified, but we need some additional information. We do this for domestic and international students. It's more common with international students because we tend to need more information from them. The most common two pieces of information that we're looking for is visa information or financial information. So international students do provide proof of finances for enrolling at Syracuse, and that's probably what your conditional admission is reliant on. Again, this happens for domestic students as well. It's not just for international students. If you did receive conditional admission letter and you have questions, you would want to email orange@syr.edu. I will leave that email address in the answer to your question in the Q&A. Email orange@syr.edu, and they'll be able to help you walk through the steps of that conditional admission. Okay, Ling, do you want to answer our next question about how hard is it to transfer to another major if I did not get the major of my choice?
Okay, so it's very flexible. So in the U.S. higher education, by the way, because I'm a higher education administrator by training, so my research field is higher education. So that's why I know this well. Okay, the system is very flexible in the U.S. universities. So you want to transfer to another major, or you want to change your major, you want to add a major, no problem. Okay. However, sometimes depends on what major you want to go to. For example, our very highly demanded major, so they are the Newhouse communication. That's very famous, the top 3 in the country. And many students say, I want to go to Newhouse, for communication. So even if now you're just arts and science student, so yes, you can get there. There are conditions. You need to have high GPA. Also, you need to finish certain courses during first year, okay? So I would like you to get some basic information, this summer, so you can be ready, okay? But you don't need to worry. Yes, you can transfer to different major. You can change. You can add one, okay? But generally speaking, if you have high GPA, if you take some required courses in advance, you receive good grade, you're in good hand. You'll be good.
Great, thank you for your help answering that. I have another one for you, Ling. Since Syracuse is in a more rural area, how do internships work in embassies in other countries? Is it limited to organizations in the city of Syracuse? And Mega, after Ling, if you would like to chime in on this, I know you're still early in this process and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you could definitely talk about what resources you're seeing already, as I know this begins very soon after students land on campus.
You want Mega to go first?
I was thinking you could kick off, Ling, and then Mega, if you'd like.
Oh, okay, sure. So honestly, Syracuse is not in the rural area. I know because America is so big, and then we don't have many people. Therefore, it's true we don't have that many people, but it's not rural. So we have actually a big airport here, and then we have the Cornell University nearby. Cornell University, it's about 1 hour away to Syracuse. Actually, for Cornell University students and faculty, they need to fly, need to drive to Syracuse to for the airport thing. So we're not really rural, about 4 hours by train to New York City, and then we have quite a big cities near us. Okay, about 1 hour away. So internship, that's true. So internship, we definitely encourage students to do internship after first year. Okay. And then there are various internship. And if you want to go to like the big cities, New York, DC, to internship, certainly so in summer, okay? In summer, because the 3-month summer. But if during the semester you want to internship and you have to stay in Syracuse, so usually students take a remote option, okay? For example, there are many like United Nations internship, it's a remote. So now remote is very popular. You can do remote during the semester, in summer, and then so you can do internship anywhere you want.
Yeah, following off of that, like I said, went on the immersion trip last week over spring break, which definitely exposed me to different companies like EY, Bloomberg, and alpha sites. There are a lot of companies that are based within Syracuse and as well as in New York City. So the trip was really beneficial. Like I'm a freshman, so internships is not like the most easy access, but it definitely did give me insight into how arts and sciences and like Maxwell majors can work in the corporate culture. But yeah, for seniors, juniors, and sophomores as well, it was a great experience to look into how internships and might as well like for after senior year, the jobs market, but within those same companies. So there are a lot of immersion trips as such. There's also 1 day one day trips like for international students only. I went to within Syracuse. So there are a lot of options that you could explore.
Great, thank you both. In the answer to that question, I did leave a link again for more information because I know you'll be reading and online after this session about different things, and I want to help you find where where that information is on our website. I left a link in case you're interested in what Mega is talking about these specific trips, events, workshops, things like that, just to what we're doing right now. So you can go on their website and see today, what are students able to do tomorrow, next day. Pretend you're a Syracuse student, right? And see on our websites what our students are doing. You can do that on our website now. For example, there's a Boston immersion trip. So similar to what Mega just did in New York City, there's a Boston option coming up. We send students to other cities. And the Central Career Services also does a good job of providing additional resources for any student at Syracuse outside of arts and sciences and Maxwell. So not only do you have arts and sciences advising, plus Ling, plus the Central University resources with events for all students, you have a lot of places you can go for support. And usually it just means, I want to do an internship. How? And then you're on your way, right? Very easy. So our advisors will help you with all these steps. Okay, we have another question, a couple of questions in the chat that are about academics and changing your plan, exploring different options. So I left these two questions together because I think they're sort of related. But first we have, if I didn't get my first choice of a double major, which was both arts and sciences and Whitman, will it affect my application for a double major later on? And I know the answer to this is no. You'll still be able to apply later on, but Ling, do you want to chime in with more information?
Yeah, exactly. So yes, you still have option. So you can still do later. And then again, so the main point is that as long as you keep your GPA high and a couple required courses, you have good grades, you have good chance.
Yes, the GPA requirement is the most important thing as you're switching between schools at Syracuse. And again, if you're wondering about that GPA, it's your college GPA. So you get a fresh start, and now we're looking at only your college classes, which is why it's really important to use the resources that Ling is talking about to make sure you're successful in your college classes, and we'll help you do that. But it'll be your college GPA that's really important. Okay, another question about majors. I applied for a certain major, but I feel like I need more time to figure out exactly what I want. Is it possible to transfer to an exploratory program to explore the different interests I have? And the answer is yes. Ling, do you want to talk about that more?
Yes. So we call if you feel like I don't know, you say I apply for econ, but I don't know, and it's fine. You don't have to declare. We call this undeclared students or student with intended majors. It's a major, it's okay. And then so because we're going to explain to you more about the curriculum here. We're going to explain that the liberal arts core requirements, that those courses, you have plenty of time basically during your first year. You take some liberal arts core, you try some different majors classes to feel like it, to explore your interests. Yes, absolutely. So we only require students to declare major during their third semester. So you have like 1 year, 1 full year to explore your interest. Okay, Mega, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, definitely. My freshman first semester, econ was part of it, but I wasn't like going into that directly. I wanted to explore data analytics, so I took a course in that. I also like sociology, so I took a course in that. So these make sure you're also looking into how that works towards your curriculum, your course structure, but definitely explore. I took a lot of different courses my first semester. They were all very interconnected, but like very different as well.
Thank you both. So I see another question in the chat about, I know some universities allow you to add an additional year to your studies, get a master's degree. Does Syracuse offer that? Yes, we do in specific programs. So you can apply for master's degrees in applied statistics, biotechnology, speech language pathology, economics or international relations, public administration, or public communications. I know that's a long list and not one that I expect you to remember. So I will share in the chat or in the Q&A a link to those programs. That's not something you have to worry about now. Those are programs that during your sophomore or junior year, depending on the program at Syracuse, you would apply then. And again, it would be dependent on your college performance. So your university classes, research, experiences, and GPA, of course. So yes, we do offer those options. We offer them in a collection of different programs, and they are popular among our students. I'll mention that we also have students who just stay on campus for graduate school. So they want to remain on campus and pursue a master's degree, and they want to do that on a standard timeline, so 4 years undergraduate plus 2 years of master's degree education. And for some of our programs, you would receive a tuition discount for doing that. So again, that keeps students on our campus as well. Lower tuition if you remain on our campus. Okay, Ling, maybe you could chime in on this as well. But there's a question for students who can't afford technology required to study, for example, laptops or phones. How does the school help? We do have programs on campus that help students with affordability. So our Office of Financial Aid is the place that you would go first with this question. Can I receive additional financial assistance, scholarship money, grants, loans, etc., to assist with my cost of attendance? But we also have programs on campus that would help, for example, by loaning equipment that you might need for the classes that you're enrolled in. So Ling or Mega, if you have specific experience with these programs, you're welcome to chime in. But again, the first place you would go would be the Office of Financial Aid.
Yeah, and then I hate to say that, but financial aid, their support usually is for domestic students because that's federal money, federal government money. For international students, it's very tough. And then for American students, so they can have Pell Grant, they have the student loan, but international students, because you will be on visa, you are not eligible for those money. And then, but for technology, the laptop, phone, yeah. So I think I assume that library we have some equipments like that. You can just borrow it, basically. But in my opinion, you need to have your own phone and a laptop, because it will be so challenging for you if you have to borrow, return like that will affect your study. Okay, so yeah, I know it's difficult. So and then, but yeah, that's just a private university set it in that way.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. Best option is to have a personal gadget. It could be anything as long as it's doing its purpose. But also within our own dormitories and different buildings within the colleges, there's computers that you can have access to. So you can definitely use those and work on your assignments as well.
Thank you. I also left a link in response to this question to Hendricks Chapel. So if you're experiencing financial need as a student on campus, for example, food insecurity, right? You're unsure how to pay for meals. That's a big problem and one that we want to help you with. So like Ling said, it will be inconvenient not to have your own laptop. We want you to have your own materials. If you don't, we have programs that you can do that will be less inconvenient, or they'd be less convenient. You might be using computers in the dorms, in the libraries, you might be loaning equipment. If you're experiencing more financial need than that, if you are unsafe, hungry, those kinds of things, those are not things we want our students to be experiencing. So Hendricks Chapel is a good place to go, and I left a link to some of the resources that they provide in addition. So if there's real financial insecurity where it's more than just inconvenient, then you should definitely let us know, and Syracuse is going to help. I see another question. Is it still possible for you to participate in scholarships based on sports? I didn't see golf or women's golf, but only men's golf. So we do have academic scholarships and then athletic recruits for our teams. If we do not have a team, then no, we would not recruit you to that sport. And that is a really separate conversation. So if you're interested in being recruited to Syracuse to play sports and for us to pay your tuition because you are a competitive athlete, then you would want to contact the specific team that you would like to play for. That is a separate conversation from admissions. So how that works is if you're a competitive athlete, you would contact that team. They would assess your athletic ability, decide if they want to recruit you. Then in admissions, we would consider you for admission, knowing that you are an athletic recruit that has been going to receive financial support from that athletic team. So it's a little bit of a different process. It's kind of separate in terms of academics and athletics, but the starting point for those kinds of scholarships is going to be with the athletic team that you want to play for. And yes, if we do not have that team, then we would not recruit you for that sport. Ling and Mega, do you want to talk about safety around the Syracuse City area and on campus? And I will provide some DPS information as well.
So I'll start. I mean, Mega, definitely you can talk more from a student experience. So on campus, super safe because we have our own policemen, basically, own police, the Department of Police. We call campus, what's it called? DPS, public safety. Yeah. And we have our own team and we have like the cameras, I don't know, thousands of cameras on campus, the buildings, dorms, everything. On campus, super safe, okay? In the city, and then we all know that the US, it's very different from other countries. So I've been living here for 4 years, and then I feel very safe here. So, and then we even don't lock our car, those things. And then I'll let Mega to talk about it.
Yeah, as far as on campus, really safe. And if you really need any assistance, there are different services within DPS. As a student, I've downloaded an app, so they provide you shuttle services, any emergency calls. There are different locations on campus where you have emergency calls, but I don't think they'll come to that, but I'm just saying there are different resources, but most frequently used is the shuttle service, just in case you're staying late within the library or elsewhere and you need assistance coming to your dorm. That's definitely there and most common. But yeah, DPS is definitely there to take care as well.
All right, well, it looks like we've answered all of your questions. So with that, I'm going to close today's session just a couple of minutes early. That being said, the email address on the screen is a good one for you to use if you have questions for my office in the future. That is Arts and Sciences or Maxwell Admissions at Syracuse. I'm also leaving my email address now in the chat. If you would prefer to contact me directly, I of course would welcome you to do that. I can put you in touch with Ling, I can put you in touch with Mega or with another student on campus as well if you have questions for them following up from today's session. And I think you will have more questions, right? Let all this information settle in, take a little bit. I know we've talked about a lot. We've shared a lot of links with you and a lot of information today. As you have more questions in the future, we really hope that you will reach out. I hope that this session really provided some assurance about how Syracuse University will support you as a student and for parents, how we would support your students as they go on this big adventure and on this big learning experience that they're going to have. It's really important to us that our students, even right now, feel assured and supported and are going to be successful at the end of the day. And we think that really stems from support. And I hope that message has come across during today's call. Ling, Mega, do you have any closing comments for our students before I end today's call?
No, the best for everybody.
Yes, I think that you choose great. So I think that you'll be really happy, especially if we have parents here. So we really take care of our international students and parents very well, extremely well here.
Great. Thank you both. And Ling, Mega, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're both very busy. You have a lot of important work to do. I think that's been clear from today's call. So we really appreciate you both being here. And I think you added so much to this session. So thank you for your time. And students, thank you for being here. I know there are a lot of different college sessions you could be going to and a lot of important things you're learning about right now. So I'm appreciative that you took some time with us today. And again, we are here for you when you have questions in the future. Until then, I'll leave you with a big go orange. Thank you for being here and we'll talk to you next time. See you then.
Thank you.